Okay, so let's continue working on our fractions. The next order of business is how to multiply, and we actually kind of saw that when we were building our equivalent fractions. Notice when I did that, we multiplied top to top and bottom to bottom, and that's pretty much the rule. So in this one, what I would first do is rewrite 3 as 3 over 1, so I can see it as the fraction that it is, and we're multiplying it to 5 over 9. And so multiplication is simply the top times the top, and the bottom times the bottom, and in this case we get 15 over 9. And we're still not done here yet, because 15 and 9, they do share a common factor, so this is not simplified. So I'd have to divide the top and the bottom by 3, and that would give us an answer of 5/3. Of course, if you wanted to write that as 1 2/3, you could do that as well. So letter C, multiplication, just top to top, bottom to bottom, and then we divide out common factors to simplify if needed. I didn't have to worry about in those first two here, because 13 and 5 are relatively prime, and 23 over 36 are relatively prime, so there's no common factor there, so no simplification. The other thing we could have done, a faster way to do this, since we're multiplying anyways, so we already have things as factors, we can probably start seeing right here that 3 and 9 share that common factor. Heck, you could probably even see it there. So before you multiply, and this only works for multiplication, we could have, right, 3 goes into itself once and goes into 9 3 times. 1 times 5 is 5, 1 times 3 is 3, and there's our answer yet again. So nice fancy shortcut. It only works for multiplication, and there's a lot of bad names for that. People call that cross-cancellation and all kinds of, dare I say, stupid things. All right, all it is basically dividing out a common factor. That's all you're doing, and since we're subtracting, we're not dividing out common factors. Since we're adding, we're not dividing out common factors. Since we're multiplying, we do have factors, so we can simply divide out common factors. And we do it at the very end, or we can do it as we go along. Either way is yours, but again, it only works for multiplication. So letter D, we're doing a division. Well, division for fractions is defined to be the multiplication of reciprocal. So I leave the first fraction alone. Division changes to multiplication, and then the second fraction, we make it its reciprocal. So the reciprocal of 3/2 is 2/3. So that is how we divide fractions, no matter what the fraction looks like, no matter what they are, no matter what we're doing. Division is the multiplication of reciprocal. That's good news, because to multiply, it's just top to top, bottom to bottom, and in this case we get 4 over 27. And I think even from here, or even here, we can see that there's no common factors. 2 and 2 don't share any common factors with 9 and 3, so we are done. There's our final answer, and that is how you divide fractions. In our next stanza, we're taking a look at subtraction and multiplication, and the little wrinkle I threw at you is that we have some mixed numbers. Best thing to do, no matter what, is to take these guys and change them to their improper fraction. The little trick is to multiply and then add. So this becomes 13 over 3. If we multiply and add, the next one becomes 7/2. Of course, we are subtracting. So 4 1/3 minus 3 1/2 is the same thing as saying 13 over 3, take away 7 over 2. That now takes us back up to earlier when we were just subtracting fractions. I need an LCD, so the number that 3 and 2 both go into, the lowest one, is 6. So to build a equivalent fraction, I need to multiply this one by 2 over 2, and this one by 3 over 3. There's my multiplication by 1, and then multiplying, we get 26 over 6 minus 21 over 6. So my 26 over 6 is the same as 13 over 3. They're equivalent fractions. 7/2 is the same thing as 21 over 6. They're equivalent fractions. But the good news is I have a common denominator, so I can keep it and then subtract my numerators. And in this case, we end up with 5 over 6 as our answer. All right, and then last but not least, when we're multiplying, I can apply the same idea. Let's first change these to their improper fraction form, and then we're basically seeing that we're multiplying fractions. Well, how do we do that? Well, we take the top times the top and the bottom times the bottom. I think 13 times 7, let me do some scratch work there. That's 1, carry the 2, 91. So we get 91 over 6. And I believe if you want to write that as a mixed number, do a long division. This is 15 and 1/6. So there's the improper fraction answer and the mixed number. Again, I don't care which one you use as long as they are simplified. You use what you want. Okay, and so hopefully this page, let me kind of go over again. We talked about some ideas of prime factorization, simplifying a fraction, using prime factorization to simplify it, how to subtract and add, multiply and divide fractions and mixed numbers. So hopefully that was a good review. Again, to get more practice, settle in on section 1.3, watch some more videos, get this all back. Because if there's one idea that doesn't go away and usually screws up my potential students in a college algebra prep class, it's fractions and not being able to understand or know what you're doing. So please try to clear that up if you're struggling, and jump on your homework. And what I'm going to do is just move forward to the next part of the pretest. Please make sure you get this stuff back. I'll talk to you guys in the next video.